16 News at 9 starts now.
It is far more evil for someone to gun down little kids. It is intolerable and it is unacceptable for us to have in the state anybody who would kill little kids in our schools.
A Southwest Texas community working to find answers to Tuesday's mass shooting at an elementary school, taking time tonight to remember and honor the 21 lives lost. Good evening and thanks for joining us for Fox 16 News. I'm Kevin Kelly.
I'm Donna Terrell. Just 24 hours after the tragic events, more details are coming out tonight about the victims and what happened inside one classroom. Lauren Blanchard has more from Uvalde, Texas.
19 innocent children and 2 teachers gone, their lives taken away by a gunman who opened fire inside this Texas elementary school. 10-year-old Javier Lopez just made the school's honor roll. 8-year-old Yuzia Garcia was learning football plays with his grandpa. 10-year-old Rogelio Torres, remembered as a sweet and kind child. 10-year-old Elijah Cruz Torres, seen here in her softball uniform, ready for summer break. Police say all families have now been given the horrible news, though for hours there was confusion, chaos, and heartbreak as parents searched for their children.
They're working, and I got info that my daughter was at school where they were shooting, and I was waiting for more details, and nobody never called me back on detail. And now I've come back in town looking for my daughter, and I can't find her now.
10-year-old Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez and her cousin, who were in the same 3rd grade class, both died. As the kids sat in class, a gunman barricaded himself inside and opened fire. Reports say one child tried to call 911 but was shot and killed. Wednesday night in Uvalde, the community came together for a vigil to honor and remember the students and teachers killed.
I ask God that you be with those who have lost loved ones. May you comfort them, Father, as they mourn.
Police are searching through the suspected gunman's social media accounts looking for any possible motives. In Uvalde, Texas, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Just heartbreaking. According to independent news organization Education Week, this is the 27th school shooting so far this year in the United States. 27 people have been killed, with 24 of those being students. 4 of the 10 deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history have happened in Texas. And according to data from the Associated Press, the massacre at Robb Elementary School marks the 11th school shooting since 2007 in which 4 or more people were killed.
Governor Asa Hutchinson ordering flags in Arkansas to be flown at half-staff today, calling the shooting in Uvalde tragic and senseless. In 2018, following the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman High School in Parkland, Florida, Governor Hutchinson issued an executive order creating the Arkansas School Safety Commission. Now, that commission was tasked with making recommendations to improve security in Arkansas schools. 30 recommendations were made in a safety report, and according to the governor, many of those were put into operation, including increased direct counseling by school counselors and security plans.
Well, despite those safety measures, parents and teachers are still wondering how can they keep their children safe behind the school doors. And not surprising, some parents kept their children home today.
Our Andrew Epperson spoke to one of those parents. He joins us live in studio now. And Andrew, this is certainly not an easy discussion, but it's one that has to be had.
That's right, and it's not uncommon anymore for kids to be well versed in drills at their schools. What to do if someone comes in with a gun and starts shooting? A parent's worst nightmare, especially when any steps to prevent these shootings are basically out of their control.
If you're going to be honest with your children about such things, you have to say, well, I don't know what could happen.
Jeff Hood is a father of 5, all in elementary school here in Little Rock. Following Tuesday's school shooting in Texas, the Hoods decided to keep them home Wednesday.
When we talk to our kids, we want to keep them safe, but I hope that these conversations also compel us to do something.
Hood knows the psychological toll a mass shooting takes. In 2016, a man killed 5 Dallas police officers. Hood was 40 feet away.
At what point do we say we probably need to quit putting guns in the hands of people who can do tremendous harm with them?
You know, I'm always all about safety and what I can do while I'm in the classroom to protect my kids.
Christy Cam is a special education teacher in Arkansas. She says she wants to see metal detectors in schools and gun violence end with more guns.
In my opinion, one of the best things, honestly, to do is deputize teachers, you know, that are willing to go through and get that training.
Cam lived in Jonesboro in 1998 when 2 students killed 5 classmates at West Side School. And since then, she says things have only gotten worse.
You know, I never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought that people would just wake up on a regular and go, oh, I'm going to go kill some kids today.
Hood says it's important for kids and teens struggling with depression to get love from their community and find a way to help them without pushing them to hurt others.
If we decide to go down the path of love, we will develop trust with our neighbors. And it will ultimately lead to less incidences like this.
Several parents I spoke to Wednesday say schools should be built differently from the start. More exits set up to help people inside get out if there's an active shooter situation, and avoiding areas where the surrounding landscape can be a perch for would-be shooters. Live in studio, Andrew Epperson, Fox 16 News.
All right, Andrew, thank you. And turning now to Arkansas State Capitol, where Fox 16 is questioning lawmakers if they think they're doing enough to protect students while in the classroom. Fox 16's Mitch McCoy telling us how some of those elected leaders are ready for immediate action.
Yep. Hello. Good evening to you. Good evening, everyone. Elected officials on both sides agree more can be done. The question is what? From securing schools to mental health resources, the list can go on and on. But the reality, since 2012, more than 100 people have been shot dead in a school here in the U.S.
School shooting, active shooting, several people down.
They're the images being seen by Arkansans from across America.
There are very, very troubled individuals in our world.
State Senator Missy Irvin says she's looking at ways to give more money to schools for critical safety updates.
More emphasis needs to be put on updating our school facilities to ensure that safety.
The Republican lawmaker says her eye has been on safety for the last decade, getting the Safe School Act passed in 2013 after the tragedy at Sandy Hook. The law requiring active shooter drills at public schools and training for teachers. She's looking at dedicated facility and technological funding that could include buzzers, cameras, double entrances, immediate lockdown doors, and windows that allow kids to crawl out in an emergency, just to name a few.
We want to respect local school boards and we want to respect those local decisions and local governance, but we also need to make sure that the money is being spent in the way that's going to rectify the situation and save lives.
We haven't done enough, obviously.
Before getting into politics, Democratic State Representative Tippy McCullough spent 3 decades in the classroom. She says she could support additional funding for safety and other updates, but believes one thing needs to be at the forefront.
I don't want to over-security our schools. I don't want them to feel like prisons in a sense, where they're not places that kids can go and feel free and learn.
Lawmakers agree it's about preventing a tragedy from even happening.
I think that does go directly to mental health resources.
State Senator Irvin agrees on the mental health resources, but has also backed a juvenile justice reform push for communication between schools and juvenile courts. Lawmakers will meet at the Capitol to discuss school safety on June 6th, and we will be there.
Right, Mitch, thank you very much. Well, yesterday's tragic mass shooting marks the deadliest elementary school shooting since 2012, when a gunman killed 26 people at Sandy Hook Elementary. One Arkansas grandfather experienced what the parents and relatives of the victims killed yesterday are now going through. David Lewis says news of the school shooting in Texas brings back a flood of painful memories for him and his family. His 6-year-old grandson, a first grader at the time, was killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. Since then, his daughter has started the Choose Love Foundation. The goal of that foundation is to provide social and emotional learning curriculum to schools and workplaces all across the country. Lewis says another key element is the mental health management.
Generally pointed toward gun control, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. So let's go somewhere where we can really change things, and that's emotional intelligence. It could be taught everywhere.
New Hampshire, by the way, has implemented Choose Love curriculum in all of its public schools. David and Scarlett are hoping other states will soon follow the state's lead.
Now from the Arkansas Storm Team, weather to plan your day with Chief Meteorologist Carmen Rose.
Good evening. We have had a few thunderstorms develop all along this frontal boundary, a cold front that is moving through the state. So it is going to be a chilly night ahead because of that. Some of those storms just rolling out of Conway. Some heavy rain that moved through there. They're now in the clear. More moderate rain outside of Greenbrier, and that's going to be heading towards Searcy and Heber Springs as well as Mountain View. We have some heavier rain, some lightning and thunder even just outside of Fordyce. That's going to be moving into Fordyce, I'd say, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, and will eventually make its way down through Warren and Monticello, but may actually die down a little bit before it reaches you all. Overnight, temperatures are going to be chilly. 58 degrees in Little Rock. In fact, most of that rain is really moving away from us, so we're kind of in the drier spot, and that will be the case for the rest of the night. In fact, most of the state will stay into the 50s, with the exception of areas farther east where that front is not going to be moving through as quickly. Now, tomorrow, it is going to be mild, 65 by lunchtime, 70 by 3 o'clock. We will have plenty of clouds and a little bit of sunshine coming through, but we'll have a lot more sunshine and a lot more heat as we head into the weekend. I'll have a look at that forecast in a few more minutes. Donna.
All right, Carmen, thank you. Fox 16 crime alert now. A former Bradford police officer is accused of raping a child. 41-year-old Aaron Cochran faces charges including rape, sexual grooming of a child, and sexual assault. He's being held tonight on probable cause in the Jackson County Jail. That's in Newport. In recent years, Cochran worked as a Jackson County Sheriff's deputy and a school resource officer.
An 11-year-old girl reported missing from Jacksonville nearly 2 weeks ago, located safely in Omaha, Nebraska. The police department says Nymeria Jones was found this afternoon with her non-custodial biological mother, Susie Sanders. Sanders was arrested for interference with a court-order custody. Police say the 11-year-old will be reunited with her grandmother in Jacksonville.
I was just worried for the people and the dog.
Well, new at 9, a group of North Little Rock School District 5th graders in the right place at the right time this weekend.
And they learned a valuable lesson there, too. While on a school trip to the Gulf of Mexico, their ship was the first to respond to a fiery boat accident.
Neil Zarang live outside Crestwood Elementary after speaking to some of the students and parents who were there. Quite a story they have to tell, Neil.
Every year, Kevin and Donna, Crestwood Elementary saves money so their 5th graders can go to Sea Camp, 500 miles away at the very tail end of Mississippi. And they got more than they bargained for this year. And if you think I look wet, you should see the people who put out this Mayday call that these students were able to respond to.
The captain came on and said, "This is not a drill. There is a nearby vessel that's on fire, and we are the nearest vessel."
Smoke, fire, 7 people and a dog in the water.
It was definitely scary.
What could have been crippling for some people to face was not so for the sea campers and their parents aboard a 114-passenger ferry.
Several nurses and several firemen on the boat that all immediately jumped up offering their assistance.
Captain Doug Cook remembered Arkansans taking action instantly. Students were sent to the boat's top to keep an eye on the shipwrecked crew. Those with first aid and rescue experience grabbed life jackets and a rope to throw. Little Rock firefighter and parent Andrew Hall was at the front of the line.
Being on vacation and having a good sea camp to, hey, I may have to go to work here.
While the ferry moved into position, Coast Guard quickly deployed, dropping lifeboats and rescuing every passenger.
That's really cool. That would be a cool job to have. So kind of, maybe wanting me to be in the Coast Guard.
After a short detour, their swim trip was given the all clear.
We were ready and everybody was fantastic, and I wish I had a audio of the cheer the crowd gave the Coast Guard once we got the all clear. It was fantastic.
Of course, is a memory that those students will keep with them for a very long time. It's all they could talk to me about today, and thankfully they don't have to worry about remembering it with anyone being hurt. Everyone was saved again. Thankful for that. Reporting live in North Little Rock, Neil Zrang. Back to you, Kevin and Donna.
All right, Neil. Great story. Those kids, that's awesome. Poor Neil out there. Looks like he's been in the ocean.
Well, I had about 20 questions that I thought we could ask them for the next 20 minutes, but we'll let him get back in where it's safe, warm and dry, right?
He definitely needs to get out of the rain.
Yeah.
Well, former reality star Josh Duggar sentenced after being found guilty on child porn charges.
How many years in prison he's facing and reaction from both the prosecution and defense.
It's a measure of what we can do together to heal the very soul of this nation.
Plus, policing in America, the president's executive order to revise police departments across the country. We'll have more on that. It's coming up. Stay with us.